Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from Central Europe. I hope everybody's having an okay week so far. Today in this class we are looking at an IELTS reading passage, and I'm going to pass on some of the correct strategies to get those high band scores while we wait for some more of your peers. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there. And for the general version of the test, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of these websites, we have loads and loads of great materials for you to improve your communication, your English, get some better band scores. Hi, Elena. Hi, Tito. Hi, Rajveer. Preeti, Roshni. Good to see our members. Okay, LA Music Video, Kapil, Nazir, nice to see many more students in the class. Students, if you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, about our products or the IELTS exam. I will gladly answer them as best I can. And today we are getting into some reading. Tomorrow we'll have a speaking part 2 for members, followed by a task 2 for everyone. So make sure to attend at the same time tomorrow. Also, all right, students, so let's take a look at today's passage. This is taken from our first exam book, and we have this beautiful picture of a tiger here, I think yawning, or maybe getting ready to eat some lunch. And then we have the title of the passage, Animals of Different Stripes. Now, this kind of a passage you could get for your Section 3 in the General IELTS exam as well. So this is useful for everyone, not just academic students. All right, here we go. So first things first, when we look at the title and the picture, we have to think about the information as much as possible before we begin reading or looking at questions, okay? So here we have animals of different stripes, and I'm looking at this tiger, so I'm thinking this passage will be about tigers. Now, if I think about what is a tiger, what do you come up with? What is a tiger? So when you think about tigers, what is a tiger? Think about that. All right, what is a tiger? So ask those critical questions. What is a tiger? I know that sounds like maybe a funny question, but it's an important one to do well on this passage. So always think critically. That's your first step. Okay? Step 1. Read the title. Look at the picture if there is one. And think critically using information that you know. Okay? The example is, what is a tiger? All right. Preeti says it's a species of cat. Yeah. Sanjay Budel says it's a large wild cat. Dr. Krishna says it's a large wild carnivorous animal. Carnivorous meaning that it eats meat. Yes, it's a large cat which belongs to the feline family. It is carnivorous. Okay. Feline, so the family of cats, feline, I think it's like that. Carnivorous, meat eater, like that. Okay. All right. Stands on 4 legs. Somebody's saying, absolutely. So why do we care about tigers? So you thought about the tiger, you think about what it is. Why do we want to know about tigers? That's your next question. So why would you want to know about tigers? Why are these animals interesting? What makes them worthy of an IELTS passage or of information. Why read about them? Okay. Pavan says it's a mammal, exactly, so it gives live birth. That's good to know as well. It's a mammal. Elena says beautiful carnivorous animal comes from the cat family. Absolutely, Elena. It's a good starting point. So they are majestic animals which are endangered. Right? Okay. So they're part of the ecosystem, Bhumi. That's right. Yeah, Tamir Khan says they're part of the world's ecosystem. All right. Good. Yeah. So let's take a look at the passage. Now, you'd want to think about the how as well. So how do tigers live? How do they survive? They hunt, they feed, and so on. Okay. All right. And then we look at the questions before we read the passage. So here, the questions are classify the following facts as applying to either Bengal tigers or Siberian tigers. All right, so just from reading this part of the question, I learn a little bit more information that this passage is about Bengal and Siberian tigers. Okay, that's pretty good. Let me brighten up our day a little bit here. Just give me a moment. All right. So this type of question, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 statements where we're going to match them with either Bengal or Siberian tigers. All of this information will be somewhere in the passage, so it's a good type of question to review and read before the passage. So number 14 lives further from the equator. 15 has a significantly higher population. 16 exhibits large size fluctuations depending on geography. 17 grows no additional fur during different seasons and lives in a climate with large temperature fluctuations. Okay. So far, so good. I've learned a little bit more there. I don't need to think too much about these, just getting kind of an idea. And then here we have our next questions, yes, no, not given. Yes, no, not given questions, students, we don't review those before the passage because we have false and not given information that's just confusing for everyone. So we skip those and go to the next set. Here we have some completion questions, so complete each sentence with information from the passage. All of this will be somewhere in the passage, so again, this is a good type of question to skim read or glance at before you read the passage. Again, don't spend too much time. Just go over them. So humans are not a part of the tiger's regular something. While not common, the Bengal tiger will resort to humans, especially if they're unable to process the flesh of other animals. Okay, and attacks by Bengals are often committed in defense of the tiger's something. All right. So we have some ideas there that we're going to read about the Bengal and Siberian tiger. I also learned from these last fill in the blanks that we're going to learn about the tiger's diet, and their behaviors and their connection to people. So now I want to read the passage. And for all of those students who think they can get a good band score by just skim reading and scan reading for answers, no, you can't. There are too many questions that are paraphrased when you look at all three of the passages together. So you do have to read the passage and be able to answer the questions in the given time to get a high band score. 20 minutes to read the passage and answer these questions is about twice as much time as a native speaker would require with high school education. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're thinking about there's not enough time to read. Okay, so this is a keep in mind. Okay, a native English speaker with high school education could read an IELTS passage and answer the questions with 80% accuracy. We tested this, so it's a fact, with 80% accuracy in 10 minutes. Half the time given on the IELTS. So why is that important? So if you cannot do this in 20 minutes, you must improve your English reading skills first. Okay, that's my tip to you. All right, very, very important. So Temirkan, if 20 minutes is not enough time for you to read the passage and answer the questions with 70-80% accuracy, then you just simply have to work on your reading skills, so reading fluency and comprehension. Okay. Maksud, skimming is absolutely ineffective for list of headings. It's one of the weakest strategies for that type of question. All right, here we go. Let's read together. Let's work through this passage together. So I'm going to read with me, read aloud, okay? Practice your aloud reading. So read and read aloud. Aloud means that you can hear yourself. Reading aloud is multiple sensory integration, meaning that you're using the muscles of your mouth, tongue, jaw, and you're using your ears and your eyes all together. Okay, it's a great way to improve your reading skills. So here we go. Follow with me, read with me. The Siberian and Bengal tigers are two of the most well-known types of tigers. These tigers are very similar. In fact, they come from the same species, but they do have some important differences. These similarities and differences, while interesting to note, are vital pieces of information for the people in charge of the conservation of endangered species of tigers. Wildlife conservationists have to tell the difference between the two in order to keep accurate counts of both respective populations. So what is this paragraph about? It's about the importance of knowing the difference between Siberian and Bengal tigers for saving these animals. That's what it's about. All right, let's keep going. The first main difference between the two tigers is the location of their habitats. The Siberian tiger today lives only in the far northeast part of Russia called Siberia, although it used to live as far west as Western Asia and as far east as parts of Alaska. One of the main reasons Siberian tigers do not live in China anymore is due to the widespread illegal hunting there in the past. Bengal tigers live in a warmer, more southern climate. They reside mostly in India, but also in Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan. Bengal tigers are the most numerous of all tigers, with approximately 1,800 living in the wild worldwide. Siberian tigers, conversely, number only about 200 to 300 in their natural habitats. What is this passage about, what is this paragraph about? This paragraph is about the locations where Bengal and Siberian tigers live or lived, and the numbers, so how many of them there are in the world today. I'm stopping to do this because this is what's called active reading. So active reading is when you read a paragraph and then you reflect on what you just read. It's very important to practice this strategy if you really want those band 7, band 8, band 9 scores. Okay? So this paragraph is about the locations where the tigers live and the numbers of these tigers. Okay? Yeah, Dr. Krishna, very nice, concise. Geographical location and population. Absolutely. Good job, Preeti. Okay. Now, next paragraph. Both tigers are extremely popular zoo exhibits, which further contributes to the low numbers of both, especially the Siberian tiger. There have been efforts to breed Siberian tigers in captivity, and many of these efforts have been successful. However, the offspring are unfit to live in the wild. At the very least, these efforts allow zoos to maintain their exhibits without taking even more tigers out of the wild population. What is this paragraph about? It's about the popularity of tigers in zoos and the inability to breed tigers that can survive in the wild. That's what this paragraph is about. While I'm doing this, I'm visualizing. So I picture the tiger living in the zoo, breeding, new baby in the zoo. It's really exciting. All the newspapers are saying, hey, new baby tiger cubs born at the local zoo, come check them out. Okay? So that's what this paragraph is about. When I'm studying at home, if I see new words like captivity, then I underline that word, and later, after I'm finished reading the passage, I write out that word, I search for its definition, and I create a unique sentence, okay? So when you're at home, make sure to identify new words in your reading. Don't stop and check their definition while you read, but at the very end, after you answered the questions and did your best, then go back and check the meanings of those words. Okay? All right, let's keep moving along. Siberian tigers, on average, are larger than Bengals. The average weight of a Bengal male is about 220 kilograms, while the weight of a Siberian averages slightly heavier. Amazingly, Siberian tigers can be as large as 320 kilograms. The lengths of these animals are also different. On average, male Siberian tigers have a nose to tail length of 3 meters, while the Bengal's length is slightly shorter. Their tail lengths, interestingly, are the same, averaging 1 meter. One notable observation is that the farther north in the Bengal tiger's habitat, the larger the animals get. The average weight of a tiger in northern India is about 15 kilograms more than ones in southern India, while the average recorded weight is 220 kilograms. Where the average recorded weight is 220 kilograms. What is this paragraph about? It's about the physical appearance of these two tigers and the differences. Again, while I'm reading, I visualize the large Siberian tiger at 320 kilograms and the smaller Bengal tiger at 220 kilograms. I also visualize that in North India, the Bengal tiger is bigger. In southern India, the Bengal tiger is a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm keeping all of these pictures in my head. This is a part of active reading. Okay, and I can see that many of you are getting the right answers here for the what questions. That's great. Keep doing that. All right. Another clear difference between the two tigers is the seasonal growth of a winter coat for the Siberian tiger. Since they live in northern Russia, which is an unforgiving climate in the winter, the ability to endure temperatures well below freezing is essential for survival. Unlike the Bengal tiger, which lives in more equatorial climates around India, where the temperatures are more or less the same year-round, the Siberian lives in a climate where the temperature can vary more than 50 degrees Celsius. Because of this, Siberians grow longer fur in the winter. For example, the fur on the Siberian's back in the summer measures about 16 millimeters, while in the winter, this length almost triples. The Bengal tiger has no need for such a long winter coat. Okay, so this is clearly about the difference between the two tigers in regards to their fur, right? Their hide. The Siberian tiger lives in colder places, so it has a winter coat in the winter, which is much longer. Okay? Of course, that makes sense. We read earlier that Siberian tigers are hunted in many parts of the world, or were hunted, probably for those nice big winter coats, right? Okay. So, connect, think about the information, use your visualization and active reading, process the information. The two tigers share many similarities, including diet and reproduction. Being carnivorous, other animals are the food supply for both. The types of animals hunted are various due to the different regions that are home to these tigers. That makes sense. Bengals eat animals such as wild boar, water buffalo, and chital, while Siberian tigers eat primarily wild boar, deer, and moose. Bengals and Siberians have very similar reproduction cycles. Both tigers reach maturity around 4 years of age, at which time they begin their mating rituals. The females are pregnant for about 15 weeks and give birth to between 1 and 4 cubs. Each of these cubs weighs about a kilogram and will be entirely dependent on their mother for the first 6 months of life. After that time, they begin their learning process, where they develop the skills they need to hunt and kill for survival. After 2 or 3 years, the cubs are ready to leave their mother and hunt independently. And at the age of 4 or 5, they reach sexual maturity, and so the cycle continues. What is this paragraph about? It's about the tiger's eating habits, the differences, visualize that, and about their reproductive cycles, okay, how they reproduce, the number of young that are born. Okay, let's keep going. One last difference between the two tigers is a significant one, especially for humans. Neither tiger hunts humans as part of their normal diet, but one of the two tigers is known to be a man-eater. The Bengal tiger, under the right circumstances, will eat humans. Bengals will attack humans in 2 cases. First, they will attack humans who interfere with the Bengal's hunting or feeding. Bengal mothers do not take kindly to people when they are feeding their cubs. Also, older Bengals will kill humans for food because humans are easy to eat, unlike wild boar, for example. Human skin is soft and fleshy, perfect for an old tiger with weak muscles and worn-down teeth. Siberians, however, will generally not attack humans unless they feel threatened. As such, records show that Bengal tigers are far more common than Siberian attacks. What is that paragraph about? It's about Bengal and Siberian tigers as man-eaters. One may eat people, the other one not, the Siberians. It's not cannibalism, Pavan. Cannibalism means to eat one's own species, okay? So, Pavan, if the tigers were eating tigers, that would be cannibalism, okay? So, cannibalism, Pavan, means to eat your own species, not to eat humans, okay? But good try, Pavan, good try using that word, okay? All right. So students, we've read it now. We've read actively. So let's make a note of this real quick, and then we'll answer the questions. When you read actively, you don't need to panic about the questions because you know you have the information in your head. Okay, that's one of the beauties of active reading. So tip: to get high band scores, practice active reading 5 to 6 times each week. This means reflecting on the content of each paragraph, both logically and visually. Okay, that's what we were just doing now. All right, let's apply what we have learned about these tigers to the questions. Here we go. So, classify the following facts as applying to Bengal tigers or Siberian tigers. Write the correct letter, A or B, in boxes 14 to 18 on your answer sheet. Number 14, lives further from the equator. Is it the Bengal tiger, A, or the Siberian tiger, B? Number 14. So Beck, John, Derek, and Boomy all say 14 should be B, and I agree. Okay. Now, if you're doing this passage at home and you're like, well, good for you guys, but what does the word equator mean? And you don't know. You can figure it out. What other word is similar to equator? What other word do you know? If you don't know, let's say you're in the IELTS exam and you see this question and you don't know what this means, don't start searching for answers in the passage. That will take you a lot of time. What other word is similar to the word equator? So using logic on the IELTS. Yeah, Abhishek says equation or equate, Rajveer, or equality or equal. Yeah, exactly. Equality, equal. Funny enough, this symbol right here is similar, right? So looking at that, you can figure out that if the question is asking you, lives further from the equator, so further from the equator must be a location. So we can figure out that it's equal and its location. And then if you're doing some really good critical thinking, you can figure out that here's the planet Earth, and the equator is the line that goes through the center of the Earth. And the warmest countries or the warmest regions are located around the equator, like Ecuador, right? Ecuador. And so then if we think about the Bengal tigers, which live in India, and we think about the Siberian tigers that live in North Russia, we can easily figure out that the answer here is indeed, A. Or sorry, B, yeah, Siberian tigers. Okay, so the answer here is B, Siberian tigers, because Siberian tigers live in North Russia, and the Bengal tigers live much closer to the equator. Okay, so just because you don't know a word, your first reaction shouldn't be to search in the passage, okay? Your first reaction should be to try to figure out the meaning of that word. If you can't, go to the next question. Okay, did everybody catch that last tip? It's really, really important, this last tip, okay? So this is an important one. Tip: if you cannot understand a word in the questions, your first reaction should be to try and figure out the meaning of that word, not searching the passage. Your second reaction should be to go to the next question. Then come back to the ambiguous question once you have answered all of the questions that you understand clearly. Okay, that's the most effective. Okay, so I say that because one of the very common reactions that I see is as soon as students see the word, for example, in this case, equator, and they don't know it, then what they do is they immediately start searching and skimming for the word equator. And that's not a good idea, okay? Because you might not see it in the passage. That word might not even be in the passage. Is that clear? So is that strategy clear that I said there? If the question contains words that are unclear, so you don't understand the question, try to figure out the meaning of the word first from the reading and from your own knowledge. If you still can't get it, go to the next question, because maybe one of the later questions will also give you more hints. Okay, that's another interesting fact. You might read a question 2 or 3 points later that will make it clear what the word equator means. Okay, so don't just start searching the passage. All right. Number 15 has a significantly higher population. So there are many more of them. Bengal tigers, Siberian tigers. Which one has a higher population? Okay. Which one has a higher population? Siberians or Bengals? A or B? Yeah. Bengal tigers have a higher population. How many? Let's see how actively many of you were reading. How many Bengals, how many Siberians? So what is the number of Bengals in the wild? What is the number of Siberians in the wild? Anybody know? Yeah, Saul, Nelyar, very good. You're paying attention. There's about 1,800 Bengals living in the wild. How many Siberians living in the wild? Anybody catch that? How many Siberians? Yeah, Saul, very good. It's 200 to 300. We don't even know because there's so few. Okay, so 200 to 300 Siberian tigers, so way less. Okay. One way, if you're doing good active reading, that you can figure this out is that you could have kept in mind that there's roughly 6 times as many Bengal tigers as Siberians. So if you take note of that while you're reading, you're like, oh wow, really? There's 6 times? For every one Siberian tiger, there's 6 Bengal tigers. That will help you keep that information in mind. So process the information that you read. Okay? It's really important. Remember, IELTS, especially the academic, it's not just testing your English. It's testing your thinking. Number 16, exhibits large size fluctuations depending on geography. So A, Bengal, or B, Siberian? So number 16. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Hemant. Yeah, this article is a little bit older. So Hemant says there's more than 2,000 now. So exhibits large size fluctuations depending on geography. The correct answer there is A, Bengal tigers. Okay, Bengal tigers. Remember we read that paragraph? It said that Bengal tigers in North India are bigger than Bengal tigers in South India. Now, even logic can help us figure this out because Bengal tigers live in India, Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh, but Siberian tigers really only live in northern Siberia, so there's not really many places they live. So again, logic will help you figure this out if you're reading actively. Number 17, grows no additional fur during different seasons. Number 17. Tamir Khan's asking, what does the word fluctuations mean? Fluctuation means differences, ups and downs. Okay? Fluctuation is a good word to know for your academic task 1 essay also. All right, so grows no additional fur. Yeah, it's Bengal tigers, right? Because they live in a place where it's warm all year. Siberian tigers live in northern Russia, in Siberia, and so in the wintertime, when it's very, very cold, they grow a longer coat. But here it grows no additional fur. Be really careful with the word no in your reading and listening questions. Sometimes those catch students off guard, so be really, really careful. Okay, so 17 is A, Bengal tigers. All right, number 18, lives in a climate with large temperature fluctuations. Well, if you got this one correct, you better get that one correct for number 18. Tito says it's B. And NSD show says it's B also. Maksud agrees. Yeah, absolutely. So North Russia, Siberia, much, much warmer in the summer, much, much colder in the winter. Good. Doing a good job so far, everyone. Again, focusing on logic, critical thinking, and visualization. Combining these for active reading. All right. Yes, no, not given questions. All right, we've talked lots about these. If you're a regular student, you should know what to do. Here we go with number 19. Both animals are primarily meat eaters. It's yes, according to the author, it's true. No, according to the author, it's not true or not given. First question, is it important to know about the diet of tigers for this passage? Yes. So it's given. Okay, if it's given, is it true or is it false? Well, as much as I know about tigers, they both like to eat meat, just like all of the other cats in the cat family, so it's true. Now I pay careful attention because this is yes, no, not given. So in my answer sheet, I write yes. Definitely true. First one, simple. Remember your logic. Remember the yes, no, not given concept of if this, then that. So figure out whether it's given first. After you figured out that it's given, then you can figure out if it's yes or no. So all of you who answered yes, Elena, Charlie, Tito, Nadia, very good. Okay, all right. The next one, the gestation period for females is about 4 years. All right. So is it important to know? So is it important to know when we're reading about these tigers, the gestation period? Now, if you don't know the gestation period, again, don't start searching the text like a madman or a mad woman, flipping through the pages. That scares me the most, students, when I'm at an IELTS exam or looking at a student studying and they're flipping pages like they've lost their mind, searching for keywords. Okay, that's a really bad sign for us IELTS teachers and examiners. So, is it important to know the gestation period for females? Now, what could that mean? Well, it's about females, so it's the woman, the female, right? Is about 4 years. What could that be in connection to? Well, if I'm thinking critically, I can probably figure out that this gestation period means pregnancy. As I think it was Pavan that said the animal is a mammal, right? So that means the baby is inside the womb of the mother. Is it important? Yeah. If I'm thinking about these tigers, yeah, absolutely. That's got to be important. Okay, so definitely yes. So it must be given. Is it true or false? So according to your best knowledge of the living world, is it true that a female tiger will carry the baby in her womb for 4 years? No, that's got to be false. So the answer is no, right? And the answer is no. Yeah, Hemant, that's right. We read 15 weeks, okay? The general rule is the bigger the animal, the longer the gestational period, except for humans, because of our brain development. We take quite a long time compared to our size. So number 20 is no. All right. Young tigers need their mother for survival during their first half year. Okay. So when we're learning about these tigers, is it important to know how long these little tigers need to be with their mums? Is it important? Or is it too much detail? Okay. Elena Pavan, Flower Sun says yes, it's important. Charlie Sen says no. Jaginder says no. All right, sometimes, especially when you're doing the last 3 true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given questions, it's okay to say maybe. Bum, bum, bum. Maybe. So if I have a maybe, then what do I do? So if I have this maybe as my answer here, what do I do? Maybe. I've gotten this far. So far, I'm quite confident in my answers. This is the first one where I'm like, ooh, okay, I got to slow down a little bit. It's a maybe. What do I do? If I don't have a yes or a no here, I can't figure that out. It's a maybe. What do I do? Yeah, Hemant says, well, maybe check the passage for it. So you have 2 options when you have a maybe. You can either A, go back and look at the passage, or B, keep going, answer these ones, and then come back. Okay? So my recommendation is usually just keep going. So go to the next questions, and then come back to the questions that you're not sure about at the end, because maybe the other questions will help you figure this one out. But if you are doing great active reading, and you're like, okay, well, I can check for that because I did active reading, and I know exactly where I need to look for this. And I remember that it was just before the man-eater paragraph. Okay. Now, logically, I would talk about the mother, the pregnancy, then the baby, right? So here, the females are pregnant for about 15 weeks, okay? Give birth between 1 and 4 cubs. Each of these cubs weighs 1 kilogram and will be entirely dependent on their mother for the first 6 months of life. Oh, look at that. All I had to do was read from here to here because I'm doing active reading, so I can figure out the answer. And now I can confidently go back and say, yes, it's given and it's true. So first half year is 6 months. Entirely dependent on their mother, needs their mother for survival. So lots of paraphrasing. It's difficult to just skim read for that if you didn't read the whole passage or do it actively, but it's there. Okay. Number 22, killing is a rite of passage which shows that a cub is ready to leave its mother. All right. Is it important for this passage to know that killing is a rite of passage that shows that the cub is ready to leave the mother? Tito says, no, that's no, too much detail. No. So here, important. I would say no. Therefore, it's not given. Okay, or just NG is okay for the IELTS. So not given. Now, another question that I would ask myself here, just to be absolutely sure, is did I visualize this? Okay, this is where you have to be a visual reader. So, did I see a baby tiger killing at any point while I was reading this? Did you? So, when we read this passage in your mind, did you see a little baby tiger attack a mouse or a rabbit and kill it and be like, I'm ready for life, let's go? I didn't see it. Okay. Flower Sun says yes. Really, Flower Sun? You saw a little baby tiger killing a rabbit in your mind's eye? Oh, I don't know. Or maybe you're thinking of something else. Okay. I saw big tigers killing and eating, but I didn't see little tigers killing and eating anything. So, no. Okay, not given. All right, last one. 23. If a mother gives birth to 1 to 4 cubs, it is common for one not to live past 6 months. So the last one, 23. If a mother gives birth to 1 to 4 cubs, it is common for one not to live past 6 months. Important. Did I visualize little baby tigers dying? No. So, probably not given, right? That would have been very sad. I'm sure I would have felt that sympathy of being like, oh, really? That's so bad, right? When we watch those nature films and then you see those little birds that are trying to fly, but they can't, so they fall off the side of the mountain and then they die, and we're all like, oh. And then you see these other birds eat them really quickly or something. It just feels terrible. So, I'm quite an emotional guy, and when I'm reading, if I read something sad like this, that 1 of 4 tigers will die, then, that I'll remember that. But I didn't see that, so not given. Okay? So yes, no, yes, not given, not given. All right. Doing good. Doing good. I'm very Canadian. British or an American person would say, you're doing well. You're doing well. Learn your adverbs, adjectives. But us Canadians, we like to use the word good as an adverb. Doing good. All right. That's how you'll know you're talking to a Canadian. They use the word good as an adverb. All right. So here we go. Last set. Fill in the blanks. Write no more than 2 words for each answer. Humans are not a part of the tiger's regular, I remember this, I don't need to go back. Not a part of the tiger's regular what? Diet. That's right, diet. Very good. Yeah. Again, only search for these when you don't know the answer. All right? Diet. While not common, the Bengal tiger will resort to something humans, especially if they're unable to process the flesh of other animals. What is the word that's missing from 25? Again, seems fairly simple. You can be confident here. While not common, the Bengal tiger will resort to what? To hunt humans? To kill humans? Yeah, I don't know, maybe hunt, maybe kill, but one that definitely will work is eating. Okay? They don't just hunt them, they eat them. Okay? Attacking, hunting, that's all what happens before the eating. What's more important is the eating. Right? Think about, again, if you don't know, it seems simple, go back and check where it says this, but it's eating. It's eating. Okay, so while not common, the Bengal tiger will resort to eating humans. Not necessarily kill them, right? Maybe the old Bengal tiger is really, really slow, but there was some tourist in the Himalayas who thought they could climb Mount Everest, fell off the side of the mountain, died. There comes the old tiger. Hey, I don't even need to hunt this human. It's right there. Like a buffet. I'm just going to eat them with backpack and everything, right? So they don't need to hunt them necessarily or kill them. They just need to eat them, right? Eating. 26. Attacks by Bengals are often committed in defense of the tigers. what? So what is the tiger defending? The tiger's, yeah, cub or cubs, Boomy. Very good. Cub or cubs, not baby. Okay, cub or cubs. Okay, so attacks by just remember I hope you visualize that one. I did. The mama tiger being like, oh, I'm mama tiger. I'm gonna make sure my babies don't get their food stolen. Okay, so tigers, cubs, the babies. But don't write babies because that's not correct. Okay. All right, students. That's how you do it. The main takeaway from this class, the most important part of today's class is active reading. Step 1, when you're reading, read the title, look at the picture, think critically, okay, about the information. The information in your head will help you to get a better band score. Logic is your friend. Somebody with a lower level of English but a higher level of logic will get a higher band score in the reading section than somebody with higher level of English using lower level of logic. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Also, remember, a native English speaker with about a high school education will be able to answer 80% accurately on these questions within 10 minutes for reading and answering. So you have double that. You have 20 minutes. If you can't do that in 20 minutes, don't worry too much about the IELTS. Worry more about just improving your English and your reading fluency. Okay? Yeah, Hemant, so Hemant says in active reading, maybe make notes while you're reading. Yeah, it's not bad advice, Hemant, especially for home study. I wouldn't write notes during the actual exam, but for home study, I would write down the sentence for each paragraph, what it's about. Okay? All right. So again, big tip. Practice your active reading 5 to 6 times a week. This means reflect on the content. This means use both logic and visualization. Okay? All right. Again, if you don't understand a word in the question, don't immediately start to search for it in the passage. That's not effective. Okay? Instead, try to figure out the meaning of the word from context. If you can't get it, go to the next question. All right? Students, for lots of great tips, strategies to improve your thinking and your English combined, definitely visit our website, aehelp.com. Click that big red button. Spend a couple dollars. It's a worthy investment. Okay, you're basically investing in self-development. It's probably the best investment you can make. Another example would be paying a gym membership for regular exercise. Just make sure to use it, right? We can provide it, but you have to use it, just like the gym. We can give you all those machines and weights, but you got to go and lift them, move them, okay? So this is our general IELTS, gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button to join there. We're here to support you with all of our materials. We keep developing more and more materials all the time. Check us out on our websites. We'll be happy to have you join our family of thousands of students that have improved and passed the IELTS exams over the past 10 years that we've been active. And hopefully I'll see most of you tomorrow. In tomorrow's class, we'll have some speaking and some task 2 writing. You're very welcome, Taral. Very welcome, Nazir. Hemant says, I paid gym's fees 2-3 times but never went. Oh, Hemant. Put on a pair of running shoes and just go running. Once you're running every 2-3 days regularly, Hemant, and you know that you've gotten into a good rhythm, then go and pay for the gym membership. That's a tip from my own life. All right. Have an awesome rest of your day, everyone. If it's late in your country, sweet dreams. Much love from Budapest. Bye for now.